2023, as the Constitution requires. He stated that he said this while responding to claims by some governors elected on the platform of the APC that President Buhari's insistence on the new Naira policy was to trigger chaos that would necessitate the imposition of an interim government. Police and authorities in Lagos have issued a stern warning against violent demonstrations in the state. This is coming as calm return to the state following protests over a Naira scarcity. The State Commissioner of Police, Idowu Onwa, said perpetrators of the violent protests will be apprehended.
An average Nigerian under a democracy has some rights. We respect those rights, but we also appreciate the limits of those rights. If your rights and your concerns are expressed within the ambits of the law, you'll be protected. But what we are witnessing here goes beyond that. It's just an attempt by armed, mostly miscreants in most of the places to take advantage of the situation in order to cause, to threaten the security order.
Relative calm has also returned to Port Harcourt, Rivers State, following a similar protest on Friday. The State Commissioner of Police, Okonefiong, who revealed this to newsmen, confirmed that some residents had planned to exploit the protest for other selfish gains.
And so we had to beef up our security deployment this morning, and we had a situation where the miscreants went to Central Bank and they got their men were able to contain them, and they got a couple of other banks, and they amount about 11 simultaneous attacks. But because we have deployed effectively before now, it was possible to contain their activities in most of these places.
Meanwhile, victims of similar protests in Delta State are still counting their losses 24 hours after. Calm has, however, been restored after the arrest of over 13 suspects. The State Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniago, is calling for calm.
Mr. President have shown that in less than 3 days from now, this challenge would have eased because the CBN would have ended up reintroducing the withdrawn 200 Naira notes to circulate alongside the other redesigned notes. So please, don't go about destroying banks. Don't go about burning the shops of your fellow Nigerians who are also going through the same pain. These are the things the politicians want you to do and make it impossible for us to have this election.
President of the Nigeria Bar Association, Yakubu Mekau, has called on President Muhammad Buhari to obey the Supreme Court order on Naira redesign. He said the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, was also wrong to make a contrary order to that of the Supreme Court.
What became so unclear was the fact that in the statement of the president, with due respect to him, after acknowledging the fact that this matter is in court, proceeded to do what I would term as an attempt to tinker with the terms of the judgment of the Supreme Court. That is not right. That is not right. And it is not right because whenever a matter is subject to the jurisdiction of the court, by virtue of what the Constitution has provided, has empowered them.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited says it's targeting 1.8 million barrels per day of oil production in the next 2 to 3 months. The Group Chief Executive of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kari, said this at the final cutover ceremony of the company.
What became so unclear was the fact that in the statement of the president, with due respect to him,
we have crossed 1.6 million barrels per day. This is not rocket science. that will have a line of sight to recovery to the level of the budget level of 1.8. It's very close by. I don't want to give this, but I know that it's not far. Probably 2-3 months max. But we'll be there. And that will bring back partners to invest, return confidence of our investors, our lending partners, and ultimately that growth that we all know is tactical will come.
Minister of State for Petroleum Timi Silva said the policy was not to stifle the private sector, but to open up the industry.
The real purpose of this transformation, it is not to stifle the private sector in the Nigerian oil and gas industry. It is to encourage growth, attract investment, and maximize the dividend to the investors.
As the 2023 general elections draw closer, wife of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Oluremi Tinubu, says the emergence of her husband, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima, will be the best option for Nigerian women. Speaking at the APC pre-election strategic meeting with zonal, state, and local government women leaders in Abuja, Mrs. Tinubu stated that the current cash crunch in the country has rubbished insinuation that the APC presidential candidate is mobilizing the crowd to campaign rallies with money.
We want you all to go to your units and prove yourself. We always have this say, what a man can do, a woman can do better. This is the decade for women, I'm telling you. From the town hall meetings, I've discovered that even when we wanted to go for rallies, they said no, they want their own women meeting. And it has been successful. And that is telling us is a tip of the iceberg.
In her remarks, the APC National Women Leader Betta Edu and her Deputy Hajia Zainab Ibrahim called on Nigerian women to vote for the APC presidential candidate in order to be well represented in government and to meet their expectations.
We are calling you the wife of the incoming president by the grace of God and the wife of the incoming vice president by the grace of God. They have called you here today because they want you to feel that sense of belonging, number one. They want you to go to the field and deliver on these elections. I would just want to charge us to the fact that we want this victory more than the presidential candidate and his vice presidential candidate. Are we communicating?
And for some foreign stories now, a pair of lawmakers have called on the United States to rescind a nearly $1 billion helicopter sale to Nigeria, saying the allegation of a forced abortion program have renewed concerns on human rights. Congress had delayed the sale over concern about Nigeria Army's commitment to protect civilians as it battles an uprising in the Northwest, as well as the bloody repression of protests against police violence in 2020. But President Joe Biden's administration approved the sale of the helicopter, saying the equipment would promote security in Africa's most populous country. African heads of state have begun their annual continental meeting in Ethiopia. This year's African Union Summit is being held amid increasing insecurity in parts of the continent as a major food crisis as several countries face severe drought. This is the first major gathering of leaders from across the continent in Addis Ababa since the AU brokered a peace deal between the Ethiopian government and forces from the country's Tigray region. And for some sports stories now, footballer Christian Asso has been found dead under the rubble of his home almost 2 weeks after the Turkey earthquake, his agent has confirmed. The Ghanaian international, who was 31, had spells with Premier League sides Everton, Chelsea, and Newcastle. He had been missing since the 6th of February. And that's the Citizen FM News at noon. I am Lawrence Umoite.